Kuzankpola, did you know that every ton of CO2 reduced in the country could be worth $5 to $30? The country is preparing to earn from carbon markets by selling certified pollution reduction known as carbon credits. Think of it like this. 1 ton of CO2 is about the pollution from one car driving 4,000 kilometers. Now imagine a factory reduces 10,000 tons of CO2. That's like taking 2,500 cars off the road for a whole year. And here's the exciting part. At $25 per ton, the factory could earn $250,000 just by cutting emissions. The price can change depending on a few things: how carefully the reduction is verified, more scrutiny means higher price, the type of project, renewable energy usually earns more, market demand, more buyers, higher price, and the national reputation, high integrity systems can fetch premium prices. But how does a country sell something as invisible as air? A carbon credit is like a certificate proving pollution was reduced. When a factory switches to cleaner fuel, the reduction is measured, verified, and recorded in the National Carbon Registry, similar to how banks track money in their account. Other countries can then buy these credits to meet their climate goals.
Under the bilateral cooperation, for example, the Bhutan-Singapore bilateral cooperation, it's basically called the Article 6.2 of the Paris Agreement that oversees bilateral cooperation. There, two countries, and as I said, in our case, Bhutan and Singapore, we've agreed on a mechanism on how to transfer credits. Once credits are generated from Bhutan to Singapore, the two sides, we have to account for the credits. There's what you call the corresponding adjustments. It's basically when we transfer one credit from Bhutan to Singapore, we have to adjust that within the emission budget of Bhutan. And it's a little bit counterfactual here, so in a normal accounting, what will happen is, let me make it simple. Say you take 100 carbon credits, see our emission budget is 100, and we are transferring 10 credits to Singapore. In conventional accounting or in financial accounting, in our book of accounts, it will show that we have 90, and in Singapore it will be 110. But in the world of carbon accounting, it's different. What will happen is, in our book of accounts, instead of 90, it will show that 110, and in Singapore, instead of 110, the convention it will show as 90. That's because this is in line with the principle of the Paris Agreement that we have to raise ambition, and so this is how it works. So we have to raise our ambition by again setting a higher baseline for us with our emission mitigation plans and all. And when this carbon credit is being transferred, it has to fulfill certain requirements of whether it meets certain methodologies. For instance, right now under the Singapore-Bhutan agreement, we've opened up the call for applications, and we've received applications for cook stoves, for biodigesters and so on. And so each of these projects, they have different methodologies, and then it has to fulfill the requirements of the methodologies. And once the methodologies are fulfilled, you develop the project, and then you generate the credits, and then, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago, you do the adjustment, and then you need to have a carbon registry, which Bhutan has. In fact, we're one of the first countries to have our own national registry. It goes through the registry for accounting, for monitoring and tracking. So this is how it gets transferred under Article 6.2, or what you call the bilateral cooperation. The second instrument of the Paris Agreement is Article 6.4, what is now called as PACM, PACM, or the Paris Agreement Crediting Mechanism. It replaces the Clean Development Mechanism, or CDM, of the Kyoto Protocol. And under PACM, you have UNFCCC oversight, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Basically, there's an oversight by UNFCCC. You have the Article 6.4 supervisory body that will oversee how this market operates. And again, you have the project developers. It's very similar to 6.2. You have the project developers, and then you need to look for buyers. So the difference is this: in the 6.2 world, you have two countries in a bilateral agreement to create and sell and buy credits. Then in the 6.4 world, you have projects that are developed, and then you have to look for buyers here. So again, I'm simplifying things so that everybody understands. And so under the 6.4 world, you have projects. I'll give an example. Say 𝐂𝐥𝐞𝐚𝐬 hydropower project. In the CDM era, that was the first transboundary CDM project in the world. So there we generated credits. It offset emissions in India, and then the buyers, we had European countries buying these credits and all. So the Article 6.4 or the PACM will work exactly similar to this. And right now, there's really no transactions over there because we only these Article 6.4 supervisory body has only recently, just a few months ago, the first methodology was approved to do with waste and landfill emissions and also, and we are still waiting for more methodologies to be developed and approved. And once those methodologies are approved, then projects can be developed here.
Cement factories usually burn coal, which pollutes heavily. Switching to RDF, fuel made from waste, reduces emission, creating carbon credits that can be sold internationally.
Similarly, we had a short group discussion with the cement manufacturing industries in our country on 8 January 2026. I feel that our industry sector will be benefited with the introduction of this carbon trading and carbon market opportunities. There will be new economic opportunities that will be additional revenue mainstream for our industries, and also our industries will reduce a dependence on the alternative energy. Overall, I think there will be waste reduction and reduce emission from the industrial sector.
When will Bhutan start selling credits? Let me put it this way. I mean, Bhutan has been selling credits in the past. The 𝐂𝐥𝐞𝐚𝐬 project, they've sold credits. But in the Paris world, no credits has been sold right now. The rule book of Article 6 was agreed after 9 years of negotiations in 2021 or 2022. And that was the time during the Glasgow COP that it was agreed. So with the finalization of the rule book, countries are now in the implementation mode of the carbon markets. In our case, we were among the first few countries, or even first 5, according to Morgan Stanley's report, that we are Article 6 ready. So we have the infrastructure, the regulatory framework to engage in the markets, and we are hoping that under the Singapore-Bhutan cooperation agreement, that some of the first credits will be generated. We've received project applications, as I mentioned earlier, and so we are looking forward to how these projects can generate credits. At the same time, the Department of Forest and Park Services, they are working on forestry credits, and so that shows a promise. The forestry credits, and a lot of work is there. They are working on the application of certain methodologies for those forestry credits, and so colleagues from the forestry sector are doing a lot of work, and I mean, it's going to be a bit difficult to see when we can expect to sell, but we can make a fairly informed or educated estimate that at least by the end of this year, Bhutan should be able to generate its first set of credits and sell both from the forestry sector as well as from industry projects that I just mentioned earlier.
Revenue from carbon credits can go into the National Climate Fund, supporting jobs, forest farmers and clean technologies. The nation is not accepting pollution from other countries. It is selling its own pollution reduction, like selling extra water you saved or vegetables you grew. The country is turning its clean environment into income for its people. This is Isha Dharma for Bhutan Today News with cameraman 𝐂𝐥𝐞𝐚𝐧.